The stars were quiet. Far beyond the central systems of the galaxy, on the edge of known space, a small alien colony blinked out of existence. One moment, the city lights sparkled across the green hills of Verdanus 3. The next, darkness. Number. Power. No movement. Just silence. But before the blackout, one signal escaped. It was short, just a repeating message in galactic code. We are under attack. Please help. Coordinates attached. Hurry. The message raced across deep space. Hundreds of systems ignored it. Some marked it as a possible trap. Others were too afraid to get involved. And the Galactic Council? They simply filed it under unknown. Threat, no action. But the signal reached Earth. And Earth. Listened. In a control center buried deep beneath Earth's surface. A group of silent operators watched the signal flicker on their screens. The message repeated, slow and broken. One operator turned to the commander. It's real, she said. It's not a drill. The commander didn't reply at first. He stared at the screen, then at the map of the galaxy. Send it to Black Command, he finally said. Activate the Deathworlder fleet. Within minutes, Earth's most dangerous warriors were mobilizing. Far above, in low orbit, a ship the size of a small city began to wake. Black armor, curved hull, no lights. It was built not to be seen, only feared. Inside, Captain Rain stood alone in a dark briefing room. He wore no medals. Just a simple black suit with red markings. Symbol of the Deathworlders. He read the signal again on a small screen. Verdanus 3, he muttered. Outpost class colony. Agricultural support. No military. He tapped the screen, zooming in. Too far for pirates, he said. Too deep for random attacks. Then his eyes narrowed. No survivors sending follow-up, he whispered. Only silence. Behind him, steel doors hissed open. 6 soldiers entered, tall, armored, eyes cold. We move in 6 hours, he said. Prep your squads. Full gear, full burn, no questions. One of the soldiers asked, Are we expecting resistance? Rain's voice was flat. We are expecting a message. While other species feared war, Earth had adapted to it. Humans came from a planet where everything wanted to kill them. Fire, ice, storms, beasts, disease. Earth forged warriors through pain, loss, and evolution. And now, Earth sent those warriors to space. The Deathworlders were not diplomats. They were Earth's answer to threats. And they were coming. As the Black Fleet launched from Earth, silence filled the stars. No warnings. No greetings. Just a fleet of silent warships cutting through the void like knives. Hours later, as they passed the edge of the known galaxy, a voice crackled on an old frequency. It was weak, distorted, but human ears were trained to catch every sound. Anyone, please, monsters. They come at night. Can't see them. Help. Then silence. Captain Rain stood on the bridge. His hands clenched behind his back. Prepare drop teams, he ordered. When the fleet reached Verdanus 3, the planet looked peaceful from orbit. Green lands, blue oceans, white clouds, but there were no lights from cities. No ships in the air. No life signs strong enough to show up on the scanners. The fleet launched small drones. They flew low over towns, forests, and farms. What they saw was horrifying. Burned buildings, torn roads, fields of ash. And strange claw marks on stone. And steel. Then, one drone caught something moving. A small figure, limping across a destroyed farm. It was an alien child. Alone, covered in dust and blood. When the rescue team arrived, the child didn't speak at first. She just pointed to the woods nearby. Captain Rain knelt beside her. Who did this? He asked softly. The child looked up, tears running down her face. Then she whispered one word. Hunters. Rain stood slowly. His soldiers watched him for orders. "Tell command," he said, his voice now cold as steel. "Verdanus is compromised. Local species may be extinct. Deathworlders are taking command." Asterisk. The ship doors opened with a sharp hiss. Thick smoke rolled into the troop bay. The Deathworlders stepped out in full black armor, their boots crunching over burned soil and twisted metal. The air smelled like death and something worse, fear. Soaked into the ground. The team spread out in silence. Captain Rain led them through what remained of the colony. A wide street once lined with homes was now just blackened ruins. Heat still rose from some wreckage, though no fires burned. That hadn't happened long ago. But there were no bodies. No screams. No blood. Only ashes. Private. Lena spotted something by a shattered wall, a small claw, broken and twitching. She crouched to examine it, but as she touched it, the claw dissolved into dust. Rain watched from behind. "They're not just killers," he muttered. "They erase everything." The team moved forward. At the edge of a ruined marketplace. A large building still stood. It was a school. The walls were scorched, but the structure had held. Inside, they found symbols drawn in black ink across the walls. Desperate messages scratched with trembling hands. "Don't follow the lights. We tried to run. They come from the fog." In the corner, a hollow recorder blinked weakly. Rain picked it up and activated it. A hologram flickered to life, showing a Verdanus teacher pale, shaking, whispering fast. "They don't use ships. They just appear. Eyes like mirrors. We tried to hide, but they smell fear. They walked through walls. We prayed. We begged." Then the teacher screamed. Something pulled her backward off screen. The holo cut to black. Outside, fog began to roll in from the woods, but it wasn't normal fog. It crawled like a living thing, thick and low, touching everything. The Deathworlders raised weapons, standing shoulder to shoulder. "Eyes sharp," Rain said. Private Bren pointed toward the tree line. Movement, left. They saw it, a shape tall and thin, just outside visibility. Then another, and another. Long limbs, no sound. No heat. The fog grew colder. Suddenly, the front scout screamed. He didn't fire. He didn't move. He just dropped. Face frozen in shock. When the team reached him, he was dead, no wounds. His eyes were wide open, pupils stretched like someone who had seen something impossible. Rain looked into the fog. "They're testing us," he said, "watching." That night, they camped inside a half-broken bunker. No one slept. The fog never left. It clung to the windows like it wanted in. The alien child from before sat in the corner, wrapped in a blanket. She hadn't spoken since her one warning, "Hunters." She stared into the darkness, eyes never blinking. Private Lena knelt beside her. "What do they want?" The child said only, "They eat memory." No one knew what that meant. At 0400, the alarms went off. Perimeter, trip sensors triggered. All of them. At once. The fog outside moved fast, now rising like a wave. Rain barked orders. "Form up! Weapons live! Stay out of the mist." But it was too late for the scouts on the south post. Their voices cut out in mid-report. Static filled the COMMS. Then. Laughter, not human. Not alien. Something in between. Deep, hollow, echoing. Through every headset, the fog pressed against the windows. One word repeated again and again, coming through on all channels, in every language. "Run." Rain didn't flinch. He pulled his rifle off his back and activated his command beacon. "This is Captain Rain of Earth's Deathworlder fleet. Verdanus 3 is under hostile control. Full enemy presence confirmed. Species unknown. Threat level, crimson." He paused, eyes cold. We are no longer here to help. He looked to his soldiers, Deathworlders all. We are here to take control. The fog outside hissed the walls. Shook but inside the bunker. No one ran. They loaded their weapons and waited. Earth had received the call. Now Earth was getting the answer. Asterisk. The fog crept through every crack in the walls. It didn't flow like air. It slithered like a living thing. Cold, thick, heavy. Even the strongest Deathworlders could feel it pressing on their chests. Like invisible hands. No wind, no sound, just the low hum of fear. Captain Rain stood near the window, watching. His reflection in the glass looked strange, like it wasn't his own. He blinked. The reflection didn't. He raised his weapon instantly. The glass shattered, but there was nothing. Behind it, outside, the fog curled around broken buildings. Something moved inside it, tall, thin shapes gliding silently. No footsteps, no heat signature, no sound. Lena, watching through a thermal scope, whispered, "I count 7. Bren added, "I see more. They're circling us." Rain replied, calm but sharp, "Let them come. They think this fog gives them the advantage." He pressed a button on his wrist unit. Suddenly, the bunker's roof opened in segments revealing launch pods. "Let's remind them," he said, "what we are." With a roar, Earth's Deathworlder drones flew into the fog, scanning, mapping, recording. The fog reacted like it was alive, twisting, pushing, even trying to smother the machines mid-air. But the drones adapted fast, switching to sonar and magnetic pulse. Then came the first image. It froze everyone. One drone caught a clear scan of a creature. It was not just a hunter. It was something else. 9 feet tall. Bone-colored skin. No eyes. No mouth. Just a long slit running down the face that pulsed like a heartbeat. Its arms were too long. Its spine bent in the wrong direction. It stood over an alien corpse and fed on the brain without touch. The creature looked up, right at the drone. And smiled. The drone exploded. In the control room. Silence followed. Rain's voice broke it. "Now we know." He turned to the squad. "They don't just kill. They consume thought, memory, identity. They don't need guns," Lena whispered. "They erase who you are." A crash shook the bunker. Then another. The front steel door bent inward. "They're coming," Bren said, raising his rifle. Rain didn't move. "Let them." He walked to the wall and pulled down a heavy switch. The outer defenses powered up turrets, energy nets, shock fields. The ground around the bunker glowed blue. Then, silence again. For almost 5 minutes. Then it began. The fog erupted. Dozens of creatures rushed forward, fast and silent. Not a single scream, not a single roar. Just death. Turrets opened fire explosive rounds, tearing the fog apart. But the creatures were too fast. Some fell, but others dodged bullets like shadows in water. A shock net caught one mid-leap. It convulsed, screeched like static, and then vanished. No body. Just ash. 3 creatures reached the wall. One clawed straight, through steel like it was paper. Another bit into the concrete. Rain's team held the line. Lena fired 3 rounds into a creature's chest. It didn't stop. She dropped a plasma charge at her feet and rolled backward. The explosion lit up the fog and showed 10 more behind it. Bren yelled, "They're copying us. They're adapting." Indeed, they were faster now. Smarter. 2 of them dragged away. Body of a fallen Deathworlder. Not to eat. To study. Rain activated the bunker's kill beacon. A bright pulse of sonic energy burst in every direction. The fog hissed, pulling back as if burned. The creatures screamed, not with mouths, but through the minds of the soldiers. Images, memories flooded. Their minds. Lena saw her childhood home, burning. Bren saw his brother drowning. Rain saw a little girl calling his name. "Get out of my head." He growled. He pressed the beacon again stronger. The memories shattered like glass dot. The creatures fell back. When it was over, the fog thinned. For now, bodies of the enemy lay twisted in the dirt, half real, half dust. Their forms flickered, like broken holograms. Some still moved. Some tried to crawl away. Rain stepped out and placed a boot on one. Creature's neck dot. It looked up with no eyes and whispered in broken Galactic standard. "We? Remember. You." Rain didn't flinch. He crushed the neck. "Good," he said. "Now remember what fear feels like." Back inside, the child finally spoke again. Her voice was hoarse. "They won't stop. They want your minds." Rain looked at her and said simply, "Then we'll burn theirs first." Asterisk, the next morning brought no sunrise, only a sky choked with gray clouds, as if the planet itself mourned the dead. The fog had pulled back for now, but not gone. It waited beyond the Yah. Trees, thick and watching dot, inside the command bunker. The Deathworlders regrouped. 3 soldiers had fallen. Their armor was shredded from the inside. No blood, no wounds, just empty expressions. Like something had reached in and stolen their souls. Captain Rain stood before a round table. Holographic projections flickered above it, maps, scans, signals. Around the table were alien commanders from the nearby systems who had arrived late after receiving Earth's transmission. They were diplomats, generals, and advisors from peaceful worlds, fragile, nervous, shaking. "This is your operation, Captain," one of them said weakly. "We were hoping to negotiate with the fog entities." Rain stared at him with eyes like frozen stone. "You want to talk to things that eat thought?" He asked, "What will you trade your memories?" Another alien, older and wearing golden robes, stepped forward. "We're not built for war. We never expected this kind of threat. If Earth wishes to assist, we request a joint command." Rain slammed his hand on the table. Everyone went quiet. "There is no joint command," he said coldly. "This is now a Deathworlder operation." The room froze. A younger alien general whispered, "You're just humans. You don't get to seize control." Rain looked at him. "No," he said. "We're not just humans." He tapped a button. On his wrist, a wall behind them opened. Inside was a glass room with a single alien inside, one of the fog creatures, captured the night before. It was bound in chains made of plasma steel. It shouldn't have survived, but it had ducked. It smiled at them, a thin, skinless grin. Then it spoke in a voice made of many voices, male, female, child, elder, all mixed. "You think you are strong?" Rain turned to the generals. "This thing walked through walls," he said. "It melted minds. It turned off our drones with a blink." Then he pointed at the creature. "But we stopped it." The creature screamed in their minds, but none of the humans flinched. The aliens held their heads in pain. One collapsed. Rain walked calmly to the wall and pressed a switch. The chains lit up with searing red energy. The creature screamed again, this time with fear. Rain's voice was flat. "You called Earth. Earth answered. Now Earth leads." Outside, more Deathworlder ships landed. New squads joined the field. Their faces were hidden under dark helmets. No names, just mission codes. One of the new officers approached Rain and saluted. "Orders?" she asked. Rain nodded. "We begin the purge." The next hours were war. Not defense, but offense. Deathworlders split into strike teams. They moved through the colony ruins, into forests, caves, even old sewer systems where the fog. Creatures nested. Each attack was planned down to the second. No speeches. No mercy. Each nest they found was burned. Creatures trying to flee were tracked and tagged. Others were lured into traps, pits, sound bombs, thermal lances. The fog tried to fight back, but it was confused. For the first time, it faced something it could not erase. Humans. Deathworlders. 2. Stubborn to forget. Too angry to fear. In one sector, Lena's squad found a creature trying to copy human shape. It had made a crude version of armor, a face like plastic. It was learning. She shot it between the eyes before it could speak. Too late, she said. Meanwhile, Rain entered the deepest nest, a crater where the fog was thickest. He stepped. In alone. Sensors jammed. Air turned to ice. But he kept walking. At the center, something pulsed, a living brain the size of a shuttle. It beat like a heart. Hundreds of tendrils reached out into the fog. It was the core. Rain placed a black cube on the ground. This is Earth's answer, he whispered. He walked out. A second later, the cube lit red. And the entire crater disappeared in a flash of blue light. The fog over half the planet evaporated. The scream of the brain echoed across the sky. Then, silence. Back at command, Rain stood before the same table. The alien generals sat quietly now. No more complaints. No more suggestions. Just silence. Rain placed his helmet on the table. This planet is under Earth protection, he said. We'll finish the job. You can either support us or stay out of the way. Number 1 argued. Earth had taken command, and the galaxy had no choice but to follow. The planet trembled. Not from earthquakes. Not from storms, but from boots. From armored footsteps that moved like machines, with purpose and precision. Earth's Deathworlders no longer searched, they hunted. The fog was retreating. The enemy was afraid, but fear was not enough. Now, Earth would show fury. In the skies above Verdanus 3, Earth's orbital platform opened its steel wings. It was a mobile weapons platform, unmanned, controlled by the fleet AI. Inside, missiles hummed. Railguns locked into place. Earth was no longer holding back. Captain Rain stood at the edge of a cliff, looking down at the largest fog nest on the planet, deep in the southern valley, covered in strange black trees that moved without wind. Lena joined him. Her armor was cracked from the last fight, but her eyes were sharp. Final strike? She asked. Rain nodded. We hit hard. We don't stop until the nest burns. Bren's voice came through the comms. Units are in position. 30 seconds. To storm. Rain raised his hand. Let's make them remember who answered the call. Down in the valley, the fog thickened. It twisted into towers and shapes, trying to confuse the incoming troops. But Deathworlders used thermal sights. Echo. Mapping. Neural tracking. They didn't need eyes. The first unit dropped from the sky. Jetpacks hissed. Boots slammed into the soil. Deathworlders hit the ground like falling meteors. Creatures rushed forward screaming, crawling, jumping from trees. But the humans didn't. Stop. Private Juno charged with a plasma blade, slicing through 2 fog beasts in one move. Another Deathworlder tossed a sonic grenade, instantly silencing the screams. In the trees above, snipers waited. They fired special rounds, magnetic-tipped bullets that followed movement. One sniper muttered, "They used to be shadows." Then fired. Now they're targets. Back at the command center, alien generals watched the live feed. They couldn't believe what they saw. Fog beasts exploded into ash. Human soldiers charged through fire without slowing. Some were hit, injured, even burned, but kept fighting. No retreat, no surrender. One general whispered, This is not war. This is vengeance." Another replied, "No, this is a reminder." Captain Rain led the center strike. He entered the heart of the nest, a place so cold it burned. The trees turned to bone. The ground pulsed like it was alive. Inside the nest, the biggest creature waited. It was different. Taller, covered in thick plates of white and gray. It had arms like scythes, and it spoke. "You should not be here, human," it said in a voice like broken glass. Rain stared at it. "You sent a message across the stars." He raised his rifle. "We came." The creature screamed, and the fog surged forward. But Rain didn't move. The Deathworlders followed. A storm of metal, fire, and fury filled the nest. Explosions rocked the valley. Flames ate the black trees. Creatures howled and vanished into smoke. The lead creature rushed at Rain, blades out. He dodged Dot, then stabbed it in the chest with a high-frequency spear. The creature laughed, until Rain pulled a trigger. The spear detonated. From within Dot, the nest shook. The fog screamed, and the beast fell its body, turning to crystal. Then to dust. Dot outside, the last of the fog began to thin. The Deathworlders stood tall, covered in ash, smoke rising from their suits. Lena stepped beside Rain. "It's done," she said. He looked out over the burning valley. "No," he replied. "Now they know." That night, alien systems across the galaxy received a message from Earth's fleet. Dot. It was simple. Short video clip of the final strike. Dot. Then 4 words. Deathworlders took command. No threats. Dot. No demands. Dot. Just proof. Dot. The message spread fast. Dot. And no one, not even the most powerful empires, dared to ignore Earth again. Asterisk. The fires burned for 3 days. Not by accident, but by design. Every nest, every tunnel, every twisted corner of Verdanis 3, where the fog creatures had spread, was turned to ash. The Deathworlders left nothing behind. No seed, no egg, no memory. Only scorched earth and silence. The alien child, once too afraid to speak, stood beside Lena on a cliff's edge. She watched the valley below, now glowing with the last fires of Earth's wrath. "Will they come back?" she whispered. Lena didn't smile. She didn't lie. "No," she said. "They won't be able to." At the fleet's command ship in orbit, Captain Rain stood before a wide screen. It showed the map of the galaxy, thousands of systems, hundreds of species. His mission was finished, but the message was just beginning. He tapped a button. A signal burst across deep space, a high-frequency encrypted broadcast in every major language, to every major power. It was not a warning. It was history. The broadcast began with simple footage, the SOS message, then the ruined colony, then the fog creatures feeding, hunting, erasing. Then came Earth's reply. The video showed the Deathworlders landing, the bunker siege, the fog battles, the crater weapon. And finally, the final charge through the enemy nest. Every strike, every flame, every scream of the creatures, all captured in sharp, clear silence. The video ended with Captain Rain's voice. "You called for help. We came. And now, we're in charge." Across the galaxy, reactions came fast. On Zell Prime, a council of elders went completely silent after watching the broadcast. One of them, who had once mocked humanity as primitive, quietly deleted all public records of that speech. On Geratune, the warrior clans knelt before their shrines, whispering prayers, not to their gods, but to Earth's Deathworlders. On the peaceful moons of Corellia, students studying human history suddenly shifted their focus, not on Earth's past, but Earth's capabilities. The galaxy understood something new now. Earth wasn't just powerful. It was unforgiving. Back on Verdanis 3, alien ships arrived days later. Scientists, historians, curious minds who wanted to understand what had happened. Rain met them at the edge of the impact zone. One alien leader, older and careful, stepped forward and asked, "Why did you come?" Rain didn't speak right away. He simply pulled out a small recorder and replayed the original SOS. The voice of a dying world. "Because someone asked," he finally said, "and no one else moved." The alien nodded. And if it happens again? Rains. Eyes didn't blink. We'll come again, he said. But next time, don't expect us to wait. The alien child stayed behind. Earth offered her sanctuary, but she chose to rebuild her home. She walked among the ashes, planting seeds. She painted over ruined walls with bright colors. When she was asked why, she said, "They came for us when no one else did. I want them to see light here next time." Earth didn't ask for thanks. Deathworlders didn't celebrate. They just loaded their ships, cleaned their weapons, and left. As Earth's fleet disappeared into the stars. A final signal was sent to the Galactic Council. It was short, direct, brutal. When the helpless call, Earth answers. When we arrive, command shifts. A pause. Then, "This is not mercy. This is policy." The signal ended. No one replied. No one dared. Far in deep space, where old empires ruled, new plans began. They changed training programs. They rewrote war manuals. Stopped ignoring human broadcasts. The galaxy didn't fear Earth's numbers. It feared Earth's will. Because when Deathworlders arrive, they don't just fight the enemy. They become the storm. Asterisk.